Hey there, it's Stephanie Shea, Chief Astrologer for janspiller.com with your April Astrological overview. There's a lot of forward-moving energy this month with several events in the sign of Aries, and we spend most of the month without any planets in retrograde. We will have a Pluto station retrograde towards the end of the month, and I'll tell you more about that. But first off, we have Mercury entering the sign of Aries on April 3rd. It will be in Aries April 3rd to the 18th. This is a good time for direct communication. Aries is known for confidence, for saying what needs to be said, stepping forward, making new connections. This is all supported this month. The main thing to watch out for when Mercury is in Aries is thinking before you speak, because sometimes Aries moves a little too quickly. So you might want to just take a pause and make sure you don't say anything that you might regret. Now, this new moon is the most powerful new moon of the year coming up. This is our Aries New Moon on April 11th, and it's at 22 degrees of Aries. I consider this new moon the second astrological new year. I know, 2 new years in 1 year. Because when the sun moves into Aries at the spring equinox, as it did back on March 20th, that really signals a new year ahead with the sun moving into Aries. However, the first new moon in the sign of Aries is kicking off the lunar cycle for the whole year. So this is a fantastic time to set your intentions for the coming year. Think big. Again, we're not in any retrograde cycles, so there's a lot of initiating energy available at this new moon. Now, on April 14th, Venus, planet of love and money, will enter the sign of Taurus. Venus is going to be in Taurus from April 14th to May the 7th. This is a really good time to cultivate both of those topics, love and money. I'd say resources, saving money, earning money, valuing yourself and others are strong themes. While Venus is in Taurus, Venus rules what brings us pleasure. Taurus has to do with comfort and making ourselves feel secure and stable. Venus is the planetary ruler of Taurus, so it's very happy in this position. Make the most of these Venus and Taurus days and see what you can do to help build both relationships and financial situations that cultivate a sense of security. Now we have Mercury entering Taurus on April 19th, which happens to be the same day that the sun enters Taurus. So they actually are exactly conjunct the day before, just when they're leaving Aries, but they're still traveling quite closely on this April 19th date. This is going to really bring in that Taurus energy. Taurus season is all about our resources, as I mentioned. It's about nature and getting outside. For us in the northern hemisphere, it usually means when the weather can be turning a little better. But wherever you live in the world, connecting with your natural world is a big theme while the sun is in Taurus. And while Mercury is in Taurus, it's a good time for communications that cultivate long-term connection. And making some bigger picture visions and plans are associated with Mercury and Taurus. What are you ready to commit to? So these are things to think about mid-month. We've got Mars entering the sign of Cancer on April 23rd. And Mars is going to stay in Cancer all the way until June 10th, a long stretch there. Now, Mars leaving Gemini could slow it down a little as it enters the emotional water sign of Cancer. It'll be less about doing and more about being and feeling. Our actions may become more motivated by how we want to feel. And there's a definite emphasis on connection with loved ones, especially family members. So if you also wanted to initiate any projects or actions that had to do with your home life, The time when Mars is in Cancer is quite a good time period to do that. We have our full moon this month on April 26th, and it is 7 degrees of Scorpio. Any Halloween babies out there? This is your full moon. That's the 7 degrees Scorpio, October 31st. But everyone will probably be feeling the Scorpio full moon, which tends to illuminate things that have been hidden. So this is a time for some really good insights. What's been overlooked. You might discover some missing information or even missing items around this full moon. And there's definitely an emphasis on intimate partnership. So it could be quite romantic for some people as well. Now, here's this Pluto retrograde I was mentioning. It's on April 27th. And this initiates a retrograde cycle that will go until October the 6th. When the outer planets are retrograde, it's different than when the inner planets are. We feel inner planet retrogrades such as Mercury, Mars, or Venus much more personally. They're closer to the Earth. And when an outer planet like Pluto goes retrograde for 5-6 months at a time, it's more of a backdrop. It does, on a subconscious level, turn some of our thoughts more inward. Pluto, like the sign of Scorpio, has some investigative qualities. So we may have part of our mind on things that have been in the subconscious for us while Pluto is going to make its retrograde journey. Now, any Capricorns who were born January 14th to 16th may especially feel this Pluto retrograde. It's going to be hanging around the degrees of your sun. Pluto will go from 26 to 24 degrees during this retrograde. Quite slow moving, only 2 degrees in all that time. But it's a really good time to review some of your values, some of the things that maybe you know you've needed to do and finally do them. There's sort of that toughen up quality that comes with Pluto, and especially in the sign of Capricorn. So you can have some success in moving things, whether it's psychological energy or actual physical things that you need to get rid of. That's another good use of it during this Pluto retrograde. So I hope you can use April's astrology to your best advantage. There's a lot to work with. Be safe and be well, and I will see you here next month with your astrological overview.